Have you ever stared at the ceiling at 3 a.m., heart racing, just wondering, how am I going to make it to Friday? It's not just the bills. It's that deep, gut-wrenching fear that no matter how hard you grind, no matter how many double shifts you pull, you're stuck in a cycle you can't break. It's the fear that the moment you finally save a little bit of money, the car is going to break down, or the rent is going to go up, or someone you love is going to let you down. Again. You find yourself asking, God, why is it this hard? Why does everyone else seem to have the secret code to success while I'm just trying to keep my head above water? But I want you to listen to me closely. There is a silent thief standing in your living room right now. He's not there for your TV or your car. He's there to steal your hope and your clarity. He wants you to believe that you were born to struggle, that people like us just don't get ahead. He wants you to make decisions out of desperation, not out of wisdom. I'm not here to sell you a fairy tale or some get-rich-quick scheme. I'm here to talk about the raw, honest truth. I'm going to show you 10 hard-hitting, real-world laws that God laid out, laws that most people are too distracted or too scared to follow. These aren't just religious ideas, these are survival tactics. They are the blueprints to building a life that doesn't crumble every time the wind blows. Are you tired of being tired? Are you done with life just happening to you? Then sit down, open your heart, because we're starting with the one thing that keeps most people broke. How to stop letting an empty stomach make your life's biggest decisions. Article 1. The Hunger Trap, Decision-Making Under Pressure. When you are living paycheck to paycheck, or worse, when you've lost it all, your brain changes. Science calls it scarcity mindset. But in reality, it is a hunger trap. When the fridge is empty or the eviction notice is taped to your door, your stomach starts making your decisions for you. This is where the most dangerous mistakes happen. Hunger makes you short-sighted. It makes you take that high-interest payday loan. It makes you stay in a toxic job that crushes your soul just for a few bucks. It makes you bitter toward people who are doing well. God understands hunger. He fed the thousands on the hillside, but he also warns us that we cannot live by bread alone. Why? Because if you only focus on the bread, you become a slave to the one who provides it. The first rule of survival is this: you must disconnect your spirit from your bank account. When you are broke, you feel worthless. That is a lie from the pit of hell. Your value doesn't drop because your balance did. To break out of the hunger trap, you have to stop making emergency decisions. Even when you have nothing, you must breathe and ask for a moment of clarity. This is where faith meets the pavement. Instead of grabbing the first quick fix that comes your way, which usually leads to a deeper hole, you must have the courage to say no to bad deals. Even when you're desperate, God isn't going to rain gold bars into your backyard, but he will give you the clarity to see a path that isn't a trap. You have to be sober-minded. You have to realize that a fast dollar today is often $1,000 debt tomorrow. True recovery starts when you tell your stomach to be quiet so your soul can finally hear the plan. Article 2. The Secrecy of the Seed, Protecting Your Small Wins. In America, we are taught to fake it till you make it. We post our best lives on social media, showing off the new shoes or the fancy dinner, even if we put it all on a credit card we can't pay back. We want the world to think we're winning because we're terrified of being seen as losers. But here is the hard truth. Noise is the enemy of progress. When you are starting to get your life back together, when you finally save that first $500 or land that new entry-level job, the worst thing you can do is tell the world. Why? Because new money attracts old problems. As soon as people hear you've got a little bit of momentum, the vultures circle. It might be the friend who always needs a loan and never pays it back. It might be the relative who guilt trips you because they're still struggling. Or, it might be your own ego, wanting to buy something to prove you're back. God teaches us to pray in the secret closet. There is power in the unseen. Think of your recovery like a seed in the dirt. If you keep digging it up to show people how much it's grown, you'll kill the roots. You need to build a fortress of privacy around your small wins. You don't need a cheering section, you need a foundation. This isn't about being sneaky or shady, it's about stewardship. You are protecting the gift God gave you. When you keep your head down and work in silence, You are building something that can't be easily knocked over. Let people think you're still struggling. Let them underestimate you. Use that quiet time to build your savings. Learn that new skill, and pay off that debt. One day, the growth will be so big you won't have to say a word, the results will speak for themselves. But until then, keep the door locked and the seed covered. Your future depends on what you do when nobody is watching. Article 3. Breaking the chains, the debt trap and the lies of lending. In America, we don't just have a poverty problem, we have a borrowed life problem. The system is designed to keep you in a cage of high interest rates and buy now, pay later schemes. It starts with a credit card for an emergency, then a car loan you can't really afford, and before you know it, you aren't working for your family anymore, you're working for the bank. You're a modern-day sharecropper on a digital plantation. Every time you get a raise, the interest rates swallow it up. God's word is very clear about this. The borrower is a slave to the lender. It doesn't say the borrower is unlucky, it says they are a slave. When you owe money to a system that doesn't care about your soul, you lose your freedom to follow God's plan. You can't quit a soul-crushing job to start a ministry or a business if you're terrified of missing a payment to a credit card company. Debt is the silent thief that steals your future before you even get there. Breaking this cycle requires a holy anger. You have to decide that you are done being a slave. This means living a life that looks boring to the world. It means driving the beat-up car while your neighbors get the new SUV they can't afford. It means eating at home when everyone else is out spending $50 on a meal. This is the sacrifice of the temporary. You aren't just saving money, you are buying back your freedom. Every dollar you pay off is a link in the chain being broken. Ask God for the discipline to live on less than you make so that one day you can give more than you ever imagined. Recovery isn't about how much you have, it's about how much of what you have actually belongs to you. Article 4. The vulture audit, guarding your circle. When you decide to change your life, not everyone is going to clap. In fact, some of the loudest voices trying to hold you back will be the people sitting at your own dinner table. This is one of the hardest truths to swallow. Your environment determines your ceiling. If you hang out with 5 people who are comfortable being broke and bitter, you will inevitably become the 6th. There is a crab in a bucket mentality that is rampant in struggling communities. The moment one crab tries to climb out, the others pull him back down. God didn't call you to be everyone's atmosphere. He called you to be a steward of the life He gave you. This means you have to perform a vulture audit. You need to look at your inner circle and ask, are these people builders? Or are they scavengers? A builder is someone who challenges you, prays with you, and holds you accountable. A scavenger is someone who only calls when they need something. Someone who mocks your new discipline, or someone who constantly brings drama into your peace. Jesus had 12 disciples, but He only took 3 of them into the room when He performed His greatest miracles. Even the Son of God had an inner circle. You have to be ruthless with who gets access to your time and your ear. You don't have to be mean, but you do have to be distant. You cannot build a new life with the same people who helped you ruin your old one. It's okay to be the oddball. It's okay to be boring. It's okay if they stop calling you. When you clear out the vultures, you make room for the eagles. You make room for mentors, for partners, and for friends who actually want to see you win. Your recovery depends on the quality of the voices you listen to. Stop giving throne room access to sidewalk people. Guard your circle like your life depends on it, because it actually does. Article 5. The time robbery, trading busyness for purpose. In the United States, we wear being busy like a badge of honor. We brag about the grind, the lack of sleep, and the constant hustle. But let's get real. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Most of us are just running on a hamster wheel, burning energy but staying in the exact same spot. We spend 4 hours a day scrolling through someone else's highlight reel on social media. 2 hours watching the news that only makes us angry. And then we tell God we don't have time to build a better life. Time is the only resource God gives everyone equally. Whether you are a billionaire in a penthouse or a guy working the graveyard shift, you both get 168 hours a week. The difference between the two isn't talent, It's stewardship. The silent thief loves to steal your time because once it's gone, you can't pray it back, earn it back, or steal it back. Every hour you waste is an hour you've essentially robbed from your children's future. To take your life back, you have to stop spending time and start investing it. This means you have to be violent with your schedule. It means putting down the phone and picking up a book, a plan, or a prayer. It means saying no to low-level distractions so you can say yes to high-level growth. God rested on the seventh day not because he was tired, but to show us that a controlled life is a powerful life. If you don't master your calendar, the world will master you. Stop letting your days just happen to you. Wake up with a mission, or go back to sleep and keep dreaming about the life you'll never have. Article 6. The weapon of mastery, being the best in a good enough world. One of the biggest lies told in many religious circles is that if you just have faith, God will make you successful. But faith without works is dead, and in the American marketplace, good enough is a one-way ticket to the bottom. If you want to get paid more, you have to become more. You cannot expect a sevenfold recovery if you are still bringing a twofold effort to your job or your business. God is the ultimate creator, the great architect. Everything he made was very good. He didn't half-heartedly throw the stars into the sky. So why are you half-heartedly doing your work? Whether you are mopping floors, fixing cars, or coding software, your work is your weapon. It is the primary way God provides for you. If you are sloppy, late, and lazy, you are essentially telling God that you don't respect the opportunity he gave you. The market doesn't pay for your needs, it pays for your value. If you want to escape the trap of poverty, you have to become so good at what you do that the world cannot ignore you. You need to be the person who stays 15 minutes later, who studies the manual when everyone else is on a smoke break, and who takes pride in the smallest details. This isn't about hustle culture, it's about kingdom excellence. When you become a master of your craft, you gain leverage. You move from being someone who needs a job to someone the world needs to hire. Don't just ask God for more money. Ask him for the discipline to sharpen your blade until it cuts through every obstacle in your way. Article 7. The emotional armor, staying cold in a heated world. In America today, everyone is offended, everyone is angry, and everyone is reacting. The world wants you to be a thermometer, merely reflecting the temperature of the room. If the news is bad, you're depressed. If someone cuts you off in traffic, you're enraged. If a coworker gossips about you, you're devastated. But if you want to hold on to the wealth and peace God is giving you, you have to become a thermostat. You don't reflect the temperature, you set it. The silent thief loves an emotional man or woman because an emotional person is easy to manipulate. When you act out of anger or fear, you make expensive mistakes. You quit jobs you should have kept. You say things that burn bridges you needed. And you spend money you don't have just to feel better for a moment. This is why the Bible says, "He who has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down." Without walls, without emotional control, you have no defense. You are an open target for every predator in the marketplace. God isn't looking for a vibe, he's looking for character. You need to develop what I call emotional armor. It's the ability to see the chaos, hear the lies, and feel the pressure, but remain absolutely still. You have to realize that most of the emergencies people throw at you aren't yours to solve. You have to learn to say, "I'm not giving my peace away for that." When you stop reacting, you start winning. The person who stays the calmest in the room is always the one with the most power. Guard your heart, because out of it flow the issues of life, and if your heart is a mess, your bank account will be too. Article 8. The Legacy Blueprint, building beyond your heartbeat. Most people in this country live for the weekend. They think the American dream is a house, a white picket fence, and a 401k that lasts just long enough for them to die in a nursing home. But God has a much bigger imagination than a retirement plan. He is looking for dynasty builders. A success story ends when you die. But a legacy is a story that keeps being told by people who never even met you. The thief wants you to think small. He wants you to think only about your bills, your car, and your comfort. Why? Because a man who only thinks about himself is easy to defeat. But a man who is building for his grandchildren's grandchildren is a threat to the entire system of poverty. You need a legacy blueprint. This means you stop asking, "What can I get today?" and start asking, "What can I plant today that will shade my descendants 50 years from now?" This is the hardest shift to make because it requires you to be selfless. It means you might have to live in a smaller house now so you can buy a piece of land that your family will own forever. It means you spend time teaching your kids about the discipline of money and the power of God instead of just letting the internet raise them. You are a steward of a bloodline. You have been chosen to be the one who breaks the cycle of starting from zero in every generation. In America, we call it old money. But in the Bible, it's called a generational blessing. Don't just build a life, build an institution. Build something so strong that the thief can't even find a door to get in. Even 100 years from now. Article 9. The strategic sacrifice, the law of the altar. In the American culture of more, faster, now, we hate the word sacrifice. We want the championship ring without the 2-a-day practices. We want the fruit without the pruning. But here is the cold, hard truth of the marketplace and the spirit. You cannot go to a new level carrying the baggage of the old one. Every major breakthrough in your life will require you to leave something behind. This is the law of the altar. You have to be willing to give up good to get to great. The silent thief wins when he convinces you that you can't have it all at the same time. He wants you to keep your old, lazy habits while trying to build a new business. He wants you to keep your toxic, party, friends while trying to build a stable family. It doesn't work that way. God isn't going to pour new wine into your old, crusty wineskins. If you want the recovery, if you want the sevenfold return, you have to be willing to put your ego, your comfort, and your need for immediate gratification on the altar and burn them. Sacrifice isn't about losing, it's about trading. You are trading a $50 night out for a $50 investment in your future. You are trading an hour of sleep for an hour of prayer and planning. You are trading the applause of people who don't matter for the approval of the one who does. When you make a strategic sacrifice, you are telling the universe and the Creator that you are serious. You are showing that your hunger for change is greater than your hunger for comfort. Stop complaining about what you have to give up and start looking at what you are about to gain. The fire on the altar doesn't just destroy, it purifies. Article 10. The quiet sovereignty, answering to a higher power. The final stage of your journey isn't about being loud, flashy, or proving anything to the people who doubted you. In fact, the higher you go, the quieter you should become. This is quiet sovereignty. It's the stage where you stop looking left and right to see what the competition is doing, and you keep your eyes fixed on the architect. In America, we are obsessed with celebrity, but God is looking for authority. A man or woman with quiet sovereignty doesn't need to shout to be heard. Their results speak for them. Their peace confuses their enemies. The thief has no power here because you have stopped seeking the world's validation. You realize that if God is your CEO, then no human being on this earth has the power to fire you, devalue you, or stop your momentum. You move with a different frequency. You aren't desperate anymore because you know that the same God who pulled you out of the pit is the same God who owns the mountains. This is where your recovery becomes permanent. You aren't just doing better, you have become a different person. You are a leader who leads with a servant's heart but a warrior's discipline. You manage your assets, you protect your family, and you guard your time with a holy ferocity. You've learned the hard way that the world is a battlefield, but you also know that you are backed by the armies of heaven. The American dream was never just about a paycheck. It was about the freedom to be exactly who God created you to be. You have the keys. The gates are open. Walk through them and don't ever look back. Listen, the path from the depths to the throne is not paved with wishes, it's paved with the principles we've just discussed. You've felt the fear, you've seen the pitfalls, and now, you have the plan. The silent thief only wins if you remain in the dark. But today, you've stepped into the light. God didn't bring you here just to survive. He brought you here to thrive. He brought you here to build something that will outlast your lifetime. Now, it's time to stop talking and start acting. Before you go, I need you to do 3 things to wrap up this new content. Claim your territory. Comment below with the words, "I am the steward." Let the world, and your enemies, know that you are taking full responsibility for the life and resources God has entrusted to you. Pass on the flame. If you know someone struggling in the darkness, someone feeling overwhelmed by debt or doubt, share this video with them. Be the answer to their prayers today. Stay ready. If this message resonated with you, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're building a community of builders, not bystanders. Go out today with your head held high. Work hard, stay quiet, and trust the architect. Your recovery is no longer a dream, it's your new reality. God bless you, and I'll see you at the top.